myself a bowl of cereal this time. Not even an egg sandwich. Got distracted this morning and then just like didn't have enough time to cook myself a breakfast. So, where were we at yesterday? Sticky notes. Sticky notes. UI, workspaces, then default workspaces. What happened? What do you mean what happened? Wait, what? I got distracted. That's not... Okay, you want the brutally honest truth? You want the brutally honest truth? I woke up this morning and I was thinking to myself, okay, what is the thing that's getting me out of bed this morning? Oh, stream title. Oh, yeah. The last, like, 2 or 3 streams, because of, alcohol, and having alcohol before the stream, like, I could barely even think or do any of the animations or anything. My brain wasn't capable of doing the things that I wanted to do, and I wanted to do them desperately, and my brain was refusing to work. I don't like alcohol when I need to stream. I'm doing fine. I just wished I was less autistic about things. I don't think I can really power through alcohol when it comes to doing cognitive tasks. And this in this work is definitely a cognitive task. And then I struggled to wake up this morning. Well, I didn't struggle to wake up. I struggled to get out of bed. You know what? You know what? Something bad did happen. What I described is the terrible thing that happened. And the fact that it's just like, oh, that's not that bad. No, it is very bad. I don't like it. I hate it with a passion. I need to be able to do my big brain work. I want to do big brain work. I want to do big brain work all the time. But alcohol make my brain small brain. Sorry, I'm not that entertaining right now. I'm still eating my bowl of cereal. Okay. I'm gonna go get my hot water into my tumbler for tea. Yeah, I had a drink with you guys yesterday, but I also had a drink, um, like 2 shots of Fireball, Friday after work, and I only was able to do like a 1 hour stream, and then Saturday, uh, after, um, after being out all day with mom, with shopping and laundry, I was still feeling the effects after that, and did only another only 1 hour stream. And then it was just like Sunday, we had that whole thing where I went to the Sunday meeting, and then I had that White Claw with you guys afterwards, and I really struggled to try and get through to a 3 hour stream. When I concluded that everything that I did up to this point with the rig was probably wrong, so I deleted everything. Starting over, and then I'm just like, okay, now I really should just read the manual. Just read the manual. There is a concept in Blender called tutorial hell. I am not in tutorial hell. I am in manual obsession purgatory. Default workspaces. Blender's default startup shows the layout workspace in the main area. This workspace is a general workspace to preview your screen and contains the following editors: the 3D viewport, top left, outliner, top right, properties, bottom right, timeline on the bottom left. Three-D viewport is in yellow, outliner is in green, properties are in blue, timeline is in red. Blender also has several other workspaces added by default. modeling for modification of geometry by modeling tools, sculpting for modification of meshes by sculpting tools, UV editing for mapping of image texture coordinates to 3D surfaces, texture paint for coloring image textures in the 3D viewport, shading for specifying material properties for rendering, animation for making properties of objects dependent on time, rendering for viewing and analyzing rendering results, compositing for combining and post-processing of images and rendering information, geometry for procedural modeling using geometry nodes, scripting for interacting with Blender's Python API and writing scripts. Additional workspaces. Blender has a couple additional workspaces to choose from when adding a new workspace. 2D animation general workspace to work with grease pencil. 2D full canvas, similar to 2D animation but contains a larger canvas. VFX, masking, for creating 2D masks for compositing or video editing. Motion tracking for calculating camera motion and stabilizing video footage. Video editing for sequencing together media into one video. Save and overwrite. The workspaces are saved in the blend file. When you open a file, enabling load UI in the file browser indicates that Blender should use the file's layout rather than the current one. Oh. Where's the... load UI checkbox is right there. There we go. That answers that question. A custom set of workspaces can be saved as part of the default. I can't wait until my tea is ready. Default settings. Reference, editor, properties, editor, tool tab, workspace. Oh, okay, that's the properties editor. Tool tab,
workspace. Okay, so right here, pin scene. When enabled, the current workspace will remember the currently selected scene. Then, whenever you activate the workspace, it'll automatically switch back to that scene. Mode. Switch this mode when activating the workspace. Ooh. I don't think I understand what mode does. Oh, switch to this mode when activating the workspace. Okay, so if I go there and I do control page up and then control page down, never mind. Is that like initial startup mode? Maybe. Unknown. I do not know. Sequencer scene. This scene containing the edit that is used by the video sequence editor. See sequencer scene. Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna go get my tea, actually. Getting tea. Getting tea. So, I have concluded
I have concluded that I'm not going to drink alcohol until I'm like a full-time YouTuber, animator, creator, whatever. As long as I'm able to work from home, I'm good. No more alcohol until morale improves. Basically. And this past weekend was like the first time I had alcohol in like a year. It's I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Sync scene time. Sync the activate scene and time based on the current scene strip in the video sequence editor. See sequencer scene. Filter add-ons. Determine which add-ons are enabled in the active workspace. When unchecked, the global add-ons will be used. When checked, you can enable individual add-ons in the list below. Interesting. Status bar. Status bar is this bottom edge thing. The left side of the status bar displays mouse buttons, shortcuts, and the key map of the active tool. In editors with a toolbar, tapping Alt or Option on macOS shows the hotkeys to change to a desired tool. Oh, I forgot that's what Alt does on Linux. Oofaroonies. So tapping Alt or Option macOS shows the hotkeys to change to a desired tool. So I need to remap change to a desired tool. Edit preferences, key map, hold Alt to use activate tool when a gizmo normally required, incompatible with the input preference, emulate third mouse button when the Alt key is used. Third mouse
Uh, emulate? That didn't do anything. Hmm. I'm glad Sharon is out of her party hosting era. Okay. I was never really a fan of parties to begin with, honestly. Alt-click tool prompt. Tapping Alt without pressing any other key shows prompt in the status bar, prompting a second stroke to activate the tool. Okay, there we go. I read the next section and it gave a tip. Alt-click tool prompt preference in key map preferences. So now, okay, now that shows stuff. Okay. 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 So tapping all, now it shows me all the things that are the tools that I could press. So I can press B for box select, I could also press Alt again and press space for cursor, I could press Alt and then press R for rotate. Okay. 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 It finally works. So, what? Probably scrolling down in the manual. Status messages. In the middle of the status bar displays information about in-progress operations. Running tasks show the progress of the currently running tasks, such as rendering or baking. Hovering the mouse pointer over the progress bar will display the time estimate. The task can be aborted by clicking the cancel button. Cool. Report message. Informational messages or warnings such as after saving a file. They disappear after a short time. Click them to show the full message in the info editor. Resource information. The right side of the status bar displays information about the Blender instance. Which information is shown can be Bleh. My mouth not work. Which information is shown can be chosen by right mouse button on the status bar or in the preferences. I'm not sure if this manual has good grammar. Because I feel like I'm stumbling. And I don't know if it's the words or if it's me. Scene statistics shows information about the data in the active scene. Collection, the name of the active collection. Active object, the name of the active selected object. Geometry, information about the current scene depending on the mode and object type. This can be the number of vertices, faces, triangles, or bones. So where is that on my screen? Huh. Shade Smooth actually looks interesting. right mouse button on the status bar or in preferences. So edit preferences. Restore. Interface. Um, in status bar. Preferences that affect status bars. Scene statistics. Scene statistics. There we go. That displays the scene statistics. Wonderful. I'll keep that activated. $2,056 faces. 2,094 vertices. Slowly learning things. Slowly learning things. Information about the data in active scene collection, the name of active collection, active object, name of the active selected object, geometry, information about the current scene depending on the mode and object type. This can be the number of vertices, faces, triangles, or bones. Objects, the number of selected objects and the total count of objects. Scene duration shows the total amount of time of the playback along with the current keyframe. number and total frame count. The format of the duration text is determined by the timecode style. System memory shows an estimate of Blender's RAM consumption on a single instance, single machine scenario. This estimate provides a measurement against the hardware limit of the machine. Extensions update shows the number of extensions with available updates. Blender version shows the version number of Blender that is currently running. Wonderful.
Areas. I had to finish the milk out of my bowl. Areas. The Blender window is divided into a number of rectangles called areas. Areas reserve screen space for editors such as 3D viewport or the outliner. Each editor refers a specific piece of functionality. Offers a specific piece of functionality. Areas are grouped into workspaces which are geared towards particular tasks, modeling, animating, and so on. Note, while some keyboard shortcuts in Blender are global, such as Ctrl+S for saving, many depend on which editor the mouse cursor is hovering over. As an example, say you just selected two objects in the outliner and want to join them. If you pressed the shortcut for this, Ctrl+J, while the cursor is still in the outliner, nothing would happen, as the shortcut isn't valid there. You first need to move your cursor to the 3D viewport. Conditional hotkeys. Oh man. I can do this. I can do this. I'm smart when I decide to be. Sometimes. Tip: the size of the border around areas can be adjusted in the user preferences with border width. Handles can be enabled to always remain visible, which can help with area management on touch-enabled devices. See Show Corner Handles. Resizing. You can resize areas by dragging their borders with left mouse button. Move your mouse cursor to the border between two areas so that the cursor changes to a double-headed arrow. Then click and drag. Hold Ctrl to snap the size of the areas to a convenient size.
don't understand why I am so tired. Docking. Docking describes several ways an area a user can interact. Docking describes several ways an area a user can interactively manipulate the size and location of. Okay. My problem with the grammar is specifically the way I speak the sentence. Docking describes several ways an area can Docking describes several ways an area a user can interactively manipulate the size and location of areas along with splitting an area into new areas. Yeah, actually, I think the grammar sucks. Docking describes several ways a user can interactively manipulate the size and location of, along with splitting an area into new areas. That's how that sentence should have been built. However, docking describes several ways an area a user can interactively manipulate the size and location of areas along with splitting an area into new areas. Does that sound like a good sentence? Not to be rude. However, it does make me stumble. To start the interactive process, placing the mouse cursor in an area corner will change the cursor into a cross. Once the cursor is across, press and hold left mouse button to perform any of the following actions. If you press escape or right mouse button before releasing the mouse, the operation will be cancelled. Joining. Dragging from an area corner into the space of a second area will join two areas. The areas that will be joined will be displayed brighter. Splitting. Splitting an area will create a new area dragging... Splitting an area will create a new area. Dragging from an area corner left to right will split the area vertically. To split the area horizontally, drag up down. You can split and join areas at once by dragging a split operation into a separate area. Dragging an area into the middle of a second area will replace the second area with the first area. Okay. Area options. Right mouse button on the border opens the area options. Vertical/horizontal split shows an indicator line that lets you select the area and position where to split. Tab switches between vertical and horizontal. Okay. I think my problem is that I haven't drank enough tea yet. I'm leaning forward a lot. Oh, frick, Wrong lever, Grunk. Wrong lever! Okay. Now my chair is more comfortable. Or is it? Vsauce, Michael here. Where was I? Area options. Right mouse button on the border opens the area options. Vertical/horizontal split shows an indicator line that lets you select area and position where to split. Tab switches between vertical and horizontal.
Interesting. Join up, down, left, right. Shows the join direction overlay. Swap area swaps the area with the adjacent one. Swapping contents. You may swap the contents of two areas by pressing Control left mouse button on the corners of the initial area, dragging towards the target area, then releasing the mouse there. The two areas do not need to be side by side, though they must be inside the same window. Okay. Oh, an hour in, I'm still struggling. Oh. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I just want to sleep, but that could be just depression. So I have to not sleep. Maximize area. Expands the editor. Bleh. Expands the editor area so it fills the whole window, while keeping the top bar and status bar visible. This is useful for focusing on a single editor. Example, 3D viewport, shader editor, without changing your workspace layout. Okay. So control spacebar. Um,
I don't know what I'm doing. Control spacebar. Can my meat computer give me a bit of dopamine, actually? That would be great. That would be great if my meat computer could give me dopamine. Just a little bit for a treat, you know? I'm not scrolling through brain rot videos. I am unequivocally not doing brain rot right now. I am not making myself dumber. I'm doing what I want to do, which is more than what other people are doing. I can talk myself into giving myself dopamine. What am I doing right now? I'm not in an endless scroll. I'm not just watching the thoughts and opinions of others. I am reading through some actually pretty important text, even though the grammar sometimes makes me stumble. I have a good life, I think. I think I have a good life. I have a stable living situation. I live alone. I don't have to answer to anybody. I have food. I have internet. I have my computer. It's old hardware, but do I really need more than that? I'm able to do what I want to do. I deserve dopamine. How much have I read through so far? I'm almost done with the Windows system. If I could get through the Windows system, the next thing is key maps. In the 3D viewport, maximizing the area temporarily hides navigation gizmos, text info / overlay, and statistics overlay. To return to normal size, use the shortcut again or click the back the previous button in the toolbar. Sorry, in the top bar. Restore area. Control spacebar. Returns maximized area back to its original size and restores the previous screen layout. Focus mode. Control Alt spacebar expands the editor so that it fills the entire window, hiding the top bar, the status bar, secondary regions, such as toolbars, sidebars, headers, etc., of the editor itself. This mode gives the maximum possible screen space for the active editor. To return to normal size, use the shortcut again, or click the icon in the top right corner of the editor, visitor only when hovering over the area. Control Alt spacebar. Oh. So that's Control spacebar. That's Control Alt spacebar. Oh boy. Oh boy. That is even more cool. Control spacebar is cool. However, Control Alt spacebar spacebar is even more cool. So you got Daniel, and then you got the cooler Daniel. Dopamine, is that you? Hold on. Dopamine, is that you? Hello? Expands the video editor. Okay. Duplicate area into new window. Creates a new floating window containing a duplicate of the current editor area. The new window is fully functional and part of the same Blender instance. This is especially useful when working on multiple monitors. Working with multiple monitors. Now I'm really thinking about moving my other monitors and stuff and storing my laptop somewhere else. A change in my living space is not something I want to do right now, but has potential. I also have to go to the bathroom. Oh. You can also create a new window by holding Shift left mouse button on an area corner and dragging outward slightly. Oh. 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 Oh boy. This makes me really want to have multiple monitors. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm working with only 2 monitors, but I have the capability of turning on 2 more monitors and having it up to 4. One of which is a TV. Massive TV. Look at this. Look at this. I got 2 more over there. Regions. Well, I got a region that I need to take care of. I gotta go to the bathroom. Bathroom region. That's what I need. Uh. Okay. I'm just gonna put that text right there. Hold on, can I change the color? Select color. There we go. Signature green. Gotta love that. Okay. Bathroom breakover. Bathroom breakover. How to make my brain release more dopamine? That's the question. Regions. Every editor in Blender is divided into regions. Regions can have smaller structuring elements like tabs and panels with buttons, controls, and widgets placed within them. Boom. You did words good. Oh, frick, I just did the... Oh. Huh. The two buttons on my mouse does previous tab, previous page, and next page. That's something new. Okay, didn't know that I could press those extra buttons and they actually do something in Firefox. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Main region. At least one region is always visible. It is called the main region and is the most prominent part of the editor. Each editor has a specific purpose, so the main region and the availability of additional regions are different between editors. See specific documentation about each editor in the editor's chapter. Header. A header is a small horizontal strip which sits either at the top or bottom of an area. All editors have a header acting as a container for menus and commonly used tools. Menus and buttons will change with the editor type and the selected object and mode. Context menu. Right mouse button on the header reveals a context menu with a couple of options. Show header toggles the visibility of the header. If the header is hidden, it can be made visible again by clicking or dragging the small arrow that appears at the top bottom right of the top/bottom right of the editor. Show tool settings toggles the visibility of the tool settings. Show menus toggles whether the menus are collapsed or not. Flip to bottom/top toggles whether the header or tool settings appear on the top or bottom of the editor. Vertical/horizontal split shows an indicator line that lets you select the area and position where the split tab switches between vertical/horizontal. Maximize area/focus mode. See maximize area. Duplicate area into new window. See duplicate area into new window. Close area closes the area and replaces it with the expansion of a neighboring area. Toolbar. The toolbar on the top. The toolbar on the left side of the editor area contains a set of interactive tools. T toggles the visibility of the toolbar. Yes, I have accidentally pressed that button before. Tool settings, a horizontal strip at the top or bottom of the editor containing settings for the currently selected tool. Tool settings, a horizontal strip at the top or bottom of the editor similar to the header, containing settings for the currently selected tool. Just like the header, it can be hidden and moved through its context menu. Adjust last operation. Adjust last operation is a region that shows tweaking an operator after ruining it. For example, if you just added a cube, you can use this region to tweak its size. Sidebar. The sidebar on the right side of the editor area contains panels with settings of objects with the editor and the editor itself, and toggles the visibility of the sidebar. You know, closing your eyes is actually kind of addictive. But that's depression. Some editors show a bar on top/bottom of the editor area that displays information about, for example, the active tools or operator. In animation editors, the footer contains controls and options related to playback, keying, auto keyframing, and transport. These settings allow you to control how animations are previewed and synchronized with audio, insert and manage keyframes through keying, set, and auto keying, navigate the timeline using playback and transport controls, adjust frame ranges, and preview specific segments of the animation. See also for a detailed description of all properties and controls commonly found in the footer. See the playback controls documentation. Arranging. Scrolling. A region can be scrolled vertically and horizontally by dragging it with the middle mouse button. If the region has no zoom level, it can also be scrolled by using the wheel while the mouse hovers over it. Some regions, in particular animation timelines, have scroll bars with added control points to adjust the vertical or horizontal range of the region. These special scroll bars will have added widgets at the ends, as known as the following image. Scroll bars with zoom widgets. Still tired. I'm still tired. This can be used to stretch or compress the range to show more or less detail within the available screen space. Simply drag one of the dots to either increase or decrease the displayed range. You can also quickly adjust both the horizontal and vertical range by dragging in the editor with Control middle mouse button. Changing the size and hiding regions. Resizing regions works by dragging their border the same way as areas. To hide a region, resize it down to nothing. A hidden region leaves a little arrow sign. The left mouse button on this icon makes the region reappear. Wonderful. Scaling. The scale of certain regions, such as the toolbar, can be changed by dragging inside them with Control middle mouse button or using numpad plus and numpad minus while hovering the mouse cursor over them. Press home to reset the scale to the default. Search. To search for assets, hover your mouse over the asset shelf and press Control F and type the search query. This will filter the poses to match what you typed. Catalogs can be shown as individual tabs. Each tab will only show its content and the content of its children. That makes it easy to filter down to a certain set of assets. Display options. It is possible to change the size of items on the shelf by using the size property. By toggling on the names checkbox, the asset names will be shown in the shelf. Alternatively, it is also possible to hover over an item to show its name. By default, the shelf only has a height for one item row. To allow for more rows, drag it on the upper edge to increase its size. My eyes are having a hard time focusing on words.
Hey, hold up. Now I'm thinking about calling out of work today. Right. My um a wave of uncertainty and tiredness just just hit me like a truck just now. And it's mm, I don't even know how much time off I have. Um, I I think I'm going to just end the stream now. Um, I need to figure out what's wrong with me. I'll I'll stream again on Friday. Uh, I need to get myself to feel better. Um, no more alcohol. I think that's the I think that's the lesson I learned. I
I don't want that in my system anymore. It destroys me for days. Um, I'll see everybody later. Okay, bye bye.